Hello and welcome back to our last episode of How to Write a Pop Ballad. Today we're looking at the bridge, but firstly let's just hear what we have so far. Great, so what I'm gonna do now is just quickly, when our first chorus is done, I'm gonna copy paste in this, our start actually, just as a little, break from the melody before our second verse starts, but that's not part of our bridge, so I'm gonna just quickly do that off screen and then I'll be right back with you. So now you see I've created two volta brackets, and the first one is up here saying, the first time our chorus is done, we're going to play this, which is just, a little break from the melody, and then we'll go back to a second verse, and then once the chorus is done for a second time, we move down here to what is going to be our bridge, right? So I want to change the tonality, the key signature of our song, because I think that works really well with a bridge. In a lot of languages, the bridge is called a contrast because it stands to contrast with the rest of the song. So to change the key signature is one way to do it, and I'm gonna change it to B minor, which is not that far away from the D major, the sort of a minor version of it, as we talked about in one of the other episodes. And I'm gonna go there through an E7 chord because why not? That is the fourth in relation to the B minor, which means it's actually sort of like a rock dominant, but it sounds cool. And actually what I like to do is I like to use sort of rock techniques in my bridge, again to create contrast from the fact that this is actually a ballad. It's not going to be really a rock song, but I'm going to use some of the techniques from a rock song. So and the way I'm going to go into a bridge is by creating what I like to call a pulse. Not a pulse, sorry, a pump. And what I'm doing is, I'm creating these, these 16th notes, which makes the, repeats the chord very quickly. And what they do is, what they end up doing is that they sound, here now when I filled out, it sounds like, you're building up to something grand that's coming. So if I'm just playing what I just wrote for you, oh shoot, if I just play, yeah, it sounds like this. So you get that feeling that, something is coming now, right? So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use some chords for this contrast, and what I'm gonna start off doing is add some more meshes, because I noticed that I'm out of meshes in my little program. So now that I've created more meshes, we have this B minor, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down a third to G, and then I'm actually just going back to B minor and then back to G. Very standard, just move between those two chords. And again, that's because if you consider the notes of, that's my oh shut up computer, if you consider the notes of a B minor, it would be a B, it would be an F sharp, and it would be a D. And if you have the notes of a G major, it would be D, it would be G, and it would be the B. So it is very, very close to being the same notes. Now, the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna create this little. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this to a B minor seventh, and I'm gonna show you why. Because then I can have my top two fingers, these two, just do this sort of movement back and forth, which over here becomes this movement, right? I'm just filling out these two measures, so they keep like playing those back and forth, and if we listen to those, it sounds like this. So very simple, but it is to cover up what I'm gonna do beneath it, because what I'm doing beneath it is I'm creating this clavis rhythm, which is something, you know, I actually think it comes from like Latin music, but it's used in rock a lot. This special rhythm that goes like, yeah, like right here, like bang, 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 and sounds. Actually, let's just fill out the thing over here as well, which is sounding like this. Oh, I actually wrote that one wrong, so let's just fix that real quick. And down here, it's going to sound like this. So yeah, that rhythm of like bam, 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 that's called a clavis rhythm. So now we've created those two measures, and what I'm going to do firstly is I'm just going to copy paste those into here, right? So we just repeat those two, and then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal from myself again. Oh, I'm such a thief. Right, but I'm going to steal from over here. So this is actually from our pre-chorus, right? The last piece of our pre-chorus that we also used in the chorus, right? I'm going to copy that again and use that as the last piece of my my bridge, but once again I'm going to change it a bit. So I don't want to keep this note. Instead, I want to move this over here, and here comes the new part. I'm going to make it syncopated again, because we like those and because it fits with this clavis rhythm we have over here. So I'm creating this syncopation over to A, right? Which ends up being down a syncop and creates a syncopation over to this G. Which means once again, you know, this goes like this. This creates syncopation, and then this becomes this becomes a syncopation down here, right? And then furthermore, I'm going to do stuff here to create a syncopation over here, because we're going to move all of this, you know, a bit. And this one I'm going to go like that. So you see, it's the same thing, but I've created syncopations all over. Now furthermore, no, actually I think I'm going to leave the melody be for now as that. So let's try and hear, you know, just this bit here with syncopations. Right? That last note is not going to stay there. Now furthermore, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually again copy this and repeat it once more, but I'm going to change it up. So remember, when we copy this into the chorus, right, we had the same, you know, rhythm and the same idea, but we move everything down a third. So I'm gonna do that here again. Oh, down there. And once again, I don't really want this F sharp with my A major chord, so I'll move that down to an E. And lastly, I'm gonna just take and remove those staccatos that are under, you know, that first note, just because we know, you know, those fitted well in our pre-chorus when we were like creating this very clear contrast with our syncopations, or to our syncopations, but now they don't work that way. Now they're sort of just there, and I don't really want them. Lastly, what I'm gonna do is once again steal, because I'm gonna steal our little hook line right here. and use that at the end of our bridge over here, like that. Which also means that we need that E-7 chord again. So I'ma just quickly fill that out with a B flat, with a D and a G up here, and with our little nice melody from E to D to B flat down there. And then then it has that. Where am I in my notes right now? It has that sweater, right? So I'm actually copy all this. Without the volta bracket, and with just this to indicate that something new is happening over here. So now we sort of started backwards. Normally, the other times we've had, we've approached all the pieces of the song chronically, so we wrote the verse from start to end. Now we're actually writing the last bit of our bridge before we write the start. But let's just hear what we have so far, starting here from the measure 35. So now, if you remember back in the pre-chorus, we actually had, this one that went down here. Now, I don't want to do that because then it becomes too much the same, but we can do almost the same, so we just have the melody go up instead, and then down here, maybe we can, if I just copy this and paste it over here, we can have it move down here, because, then that note, as well as, here we go up to an F, then we go up to an A, which means we jump up a third. Here we have a D, which jump up to an F sharp, which means we jump up a third. So, right, it's, we had all the notes move down a third, and now it's like we've had this F sharp move down a third as well. So let's just hear it over from here so we can get that pickup as well. And that works really nice to, like, sort of bind the two phrases together so they don't sound so, disconnected as they did before. Because even, here, even though there's this pause in the middle, it still becomes, moving down seconds, which makes it sound more natural, right? So now we actually need to start writing new melody. We've been avoiding it so far, but we need to start this bridge off somehow. So I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna start in A, because again, when in doubt, go with arpeggios. So I'm gonna make it arpeggio of a B-7, and I just start on an A because it's a nice easy note to move up a second, and then you hit the primary of the B-7, not second, B-7. So I'm gonna just do an arpeggio here, and then I'm making an arpeggio of a G, which looks like this. And then I'll move up again. And you notice, furthermore, I should say that, the reason I'm making this rhythm of the melody is because it supports this clavis rhythm. So you see, I have stress here on 1, I have stress here on the offbeat of 2, and I have stress here on 4. So the stresses become the same, right? So it fits, it fits. It sounds natural to have a melody this way because it is supported by the arrangement. And here we're back to B-7, so I could have it up there again, but I don't want to. Actually want to go down here and notice that actually for the first time this is not B flat, but it's a normal B. And now we need to end this, and actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create this little thing. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm I'm gonna create this little thing so it goes up in seconds up to this F sharp, which isn't really part of our G. It's actually the seventh of this major seventh of the G, but I think it sounds really nice, and I'm gonna do it so I'm gonna start the word here and then slide it up to the F sharp from E to an F sharp, so the stress is actually not on 1 but on the offbeat for 4. So with the melody we end up with, if we started from over here when, you know, our little pulse was, it's going to sound like this. Great, so now actually the only thing we need, and went rather quickly I think, the only thing we actually need is the lyrics. And by now you should know not to expect too much. Actually, I'm gonna do this. So, you know, we are working with these similes. Now I'm actually going to create opposites, which are still similes. Hold with me here. I'm gonna go opposites. So I'm gonna say like yin and yang, right? Because those are opposites. Or like Peter Pan, because that's the only word I could come up with that rhymes with yang. And that, oh shoot, no, caps lock here. And that when the girl from London. And here you see again, you know, the stress comes here on the offbeat and not on the one, because, you know, London starts on that one and not that one. Like Peter Pan and when they go from London, we seem, and here the, you know, now we get to the point, is we seem so opposite, but still no, not that kind of this kind of we seem to fit like cat hair on my sweater, right? So despite being opposites like yin and yang and Peter Pan and Wendy, they still, the lovers still, you know, fit together, because that's what they do as well, right? You know, Peter Pan is this lost wild boy and Wendy is this pretty girl from London, and still they fall for each other. Great, so now all there is left to do is actually listening to it. So let's just start it off here. Boom. So that's it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it and liked it. If you did, make sure to leave a comment, say you liked it, or if you have any question you can leave a comment as well and I'll be sure to answer them. Furthermore, you know, if you liked it, this was the last part of, you know, how to write a pop ballad. So if you have any other ideas for song genres you want me to you know, dissect and show you techniques for, leave a suggestion in the comment and maybe I'll look into it. And if you like it, make sure to check out the previous videos where I talk about how I write the other pieces of this song, and, you know, subscribe, because this is going to be made into a proper production with a, you know, a singer and everything, so it actually, you know, not just a word on a screen but actually someone who's saying it. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing that, this as an actual production, make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date with that, and goodbye.